The Fandom Bricks Podcast.
Hello everyone, it's that time again. It's episode 4 of the Fandom Bricks Podcast. I am Josh, better known as the Galaxy of Bricks, and I am joined as always by my amazing co-host.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam, better known as Bite Size Bricks. Welcome back to the podcast. We're really excited to get going for this one. We've been discussing it for a while now. Lots of nice things to discuss, lots of diverse things to discuss this week. But we'll get started as ever with our LEGO life stories. So, Josh, we'll go back over to you. I know that you've had a few bits going on, so do you want to fill us in on your week in LEGO?
I really don't want to talk about it. It's been a weird one. Because for those of you who have seen my recent TikToks, my purchase that I mentioned last week on the podcast has arrived, and that was the ATTE, which I'm really excited for because it comes with a Phase 2 Cody, which is absolutely amazing. I also, on a whim, whilst I was out and about doing a massive day of adulting, I may have bought the Sanctum Sanctorum as well.
May have.
And yeah, may have. I mean, I'll let you guys go to TikTok and see that one. I'm not going to confirm nor deny this. I'll let the viewers decide this one. And even though today was payday, I actually picked up a retired set as well.
It's a cool retired set.
So I am. You what? Sorry.
It's a cool one.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a cool retired set, but I'm officially on a Lego ban now till December. So those were the last 3 purchases Lego wise that I am making until after Christmas. So that's me done. What about you, sir? What have you done, bought in the week since we last recorded?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a week as well. Not quite as big as the Sanctorum, but I've built a few things this week. I've had bagged up a Naboo Starfighter and Vulture Droid, as you can see here.
Nice.
I've had those sort of bagged up. I bought them on Facebook Marketplace a long time ago. They were sold to me as 99% complete. It was nowhere near that. So it's going to take a bit for me to kind of piece that together, which was a little bit disappointing. And then last night, I built this, which I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did, but I built the Throne of Namor, or Namor's Throne Room, which is a really, really cool set, some really cool minifigures. I'm very much in the sort of hype train for Black Panther at the moment. 10 days to go as of this recording. So, yeah,
excellent.
Done quite a bit of Lego building and made a few purchases as well. I am driving off down the road tomorrow morning to go and pick up something I'm very excited about, which I won't talk about now because I'll save that for next week. But I've also made a bit of a pick-a-brick order as well to kind of flesh out some builds that I'm working on. So, yeah, it's been a good week in Lego, actually, this week for me. Pricey, but enjoyable. But I think I may be alongside you in a ban until December.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, let's be brutally honest with you. The Sanctum was just, I was an impulse buy. I'm not going to lie to you. And the retired set that I bought, it was the last one available that I bought, and I'm glad that I bought it. I'm just hoping I've not skinted myself so soon as payday has happened to get these things. So, woe is me. We shall see how this pans out. If I'm having to live off bread and water for like a month, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, you may have to. I will say, though, in your defense, you say they're impulse buys. They probably were in the spur of the moment, but you have been kind of eyeing both of those sets up for a while. There's something you've been mulling over for a bit, aren't they? So it's nice that you've been able to jump at it, even if it does mean bread and water for a few weeks. But that's what we do as collectors. We've just got to put up with it.
Exactly. And everything is content. So there we go.
Yeah, exactly. And talking of content, let's move on to our first main topic. So this week's first main topic was put forward by you this week, actually. And it's a little bit different. It's not so much a news story. We've had a bit of a slow news week, I think, this week on Lego.
Yeah.
And so you put forward this idea of let's discuss this topic, which we're going to do. And I immediately had my response in my head straight away. So it's going to be really interesting. So the topic that you put forward was, what is the best year for Star Wars Lego? So what year provided us with prime Lego sets for Star Wars? So I think high bias in some of my favorite ever sets were in the year that I've chosen, but I'm really, really interested to see what you went for. And then we'll get a discussion going, I guess, and see what people think and what other years other people may have chosen. But I'll go straight across to you, Josh. What year did you choose and why?
I picked, and I had to do my research on this because there's some amazing sets, but I actually picked 2016.
Oh, nice. First of all, I'm glad that we didn't choose the same set. What I'm going to do now really quickly is use the trusty Brickset website so I can kind of get this up. So we'll have a bit of a visual aid as well. So do you want to kind of talk us through your thought process of why you went for 2016?
Yeah, well, for those of you who are familiar, 2016, we'd just come off the back of Star Wars The Force Awakens, which was in 2015. We had some stuff that had come out from the last of the Star Wars Rebels line, and we were getting into Rogue One. And obviously, if you look at the Rogue One sets from 2016, there are some truly amazing sets from that calendar year of 2016 to 2017, that 1 year gap. There are some amazing Star Wars sets, and that was when I started to really get back into collecting some of my bigger sets. And that sort of 2014 to 2017 era are where I myself have ended up getting really good sets, I think. And there's barely any duds, in my opinion, from that sort of time frame, I think.
No, I mean, I'm just having a quick browse through now, and it's hit upon hit for the most part. The first page there is a few buildable figures, but we ignore those. But I mean, you've got Obi-Wan's Jedi Interceptor, the Droid Escape Pod, Carbon Freezing Chamber, Hoth Attack, Battle on Takodana. What else? I saw a load of good ones down here. So you've got the TIE Advance versus A-Wing. I know that you've got that one as well. You've got the Turbo Tank, the Hover Tank, which I've got, the ATST, TIE Striker, U-Wing, Krennic Shuttle, which everyone loves. Rex's ATTE. It's packed. And the Death Star as well.
Yeah, and I mean, just from those ones that you have read out from that list, I've got about 8 of them. So I have Direct to Krennic Shuttle, I've got the A-Wing versus TIE Advanced, I've got the Hover Tank, which I bought off eBay. And obviously, I've got some of those smaller sets as well. And I think just for sheer minifig as well, Direct to Krennic Shuttle, I think, is by far the standout set from that year, because it's the only time you'll get Bodhi Rook, you get K2SO, you get POW, you get Direct to Krennic as minifigures. No other sets have them. So I think the fact that that's the big exclusive for me, that year, 2016, is just an absolute winner for me.
Yeah, it's a strong, very, very strong year. I mean, just kind of hovering over this part here. I don't know if you can see those 3 that I've got in a row.
I can see it, yeah.
75155, the U-Wing, 75156. Krennic Shuttle, and 75157 Captain Rex's ATTE. Those are all top tier sets. I mean, if you've ever looked through Brickset, their ratings, there's a lot. I mean, you kind of have close to 1,000 ratings on most sets, and they're all 4.4, 4.3, 4.2. That's very strong numbers. And then 4 again for the Rebel Combat Fighter. So you've got Ahsoka Tano in there as well. This is a very, very strong. And again, I was talking to someone about this question, and it does very much depend on your personal preference of what Star Wars appeals to you as well. And I know that you're a big fan of Rogue One. Certainly those sets. But I just think when you look at an entire line put together and you look across all of those Rogue One sets, they are all strong sets, aren't they?
Absolutely. And I mean, the ATST that came out in that year is fantastic. It holds up really well against the ATST Raider and the recently released ATST as well. You've got the TIE Striker, which is an underrated set, in my opinion, in the respect of everybody loves TIE fighters, and obviously, you've got some amazing TIE fighter sets, but that's probably the only ever time we're going to get a TIE Striker in Lego form. And I don't think they'll ever release another one. The same for Direct to Krennic Shuttle as well. So I just think the U-Wing is a good one because it's such a unique build, and it's a beefy boy as well. That U-Wing is beefy.
Yeah, it's so much bigger than I anticipated. It was one of the sets that when Rogue One first came out, I wasn't a massive fan of the U-Wing. I have to say, Rogue One
No.
was one of those films where I watched it, I enjoyed it. There were a lot of things that I didn't love about Rogue One when it first came out. Things like the music, ship choices, and then just as I've watched it, every single time I watch it, I love it more and more. And now it's like right at the top of my list of favourite Star Wars films.
Yeah,
Even the
exactly.
music. I think it's just one of those ones that has just grown on me over the years. And so I didn't get the U-Wing for a long time. That's been one I've had to kind of go back in and get. I'm just looking at the prices as well. I can't imagine the U-Wing coming out today and costing 75 quid. I mean, that's £100 set straight away, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much the prices have shot up. Even the Captain Rex's ATTE, there's a lot to that. You've got the fifth brother, you've got Rex and Wolf and Gregor, all of that stuff on the ATTE. It's a lot of pieces, and it was £110.
Exactly, and these sets now are investments. Like we've seen, we've been to Brickfest and stuff. We've been to conventions. We've seen on Bricklink, eBay, sets like that a lot of people missed out on. They're investments now, and I think, like you say, if you were to buy a U-Wing in today's market, you'd be looking at close to £200. I think if you were to buy the ATTE, it'd be probably double its value. So I think, yeah, it's a strong year overall in terms of sets and value for money as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And the really funny thing is, this is not a year that I had even popped in my mind. But I'm going through these, and this is not like because I know that everybody buys within their means and things. I wasn't an avid collector at this point. I'm not to the level that I am now. But I'm looking through and I'm like, well, I've got that, and I've got that, and I've got that, and that, and that, and that. And it's like, I've got pretty much all of these sets, other than the ATT. I don't have Rex's ATT, which I would love to have. But I've pretty much got the rest of them, which I think shows
Exactly.
I think I'm trying to kind of word this without sounding like an idiot, but I wasn't collecting heavily at this point. This was kind of, I was still dipping in and out of Lego, but it clearly shows that it was a strong year because I've gone back in and dipped into so many of these sets. So I just think it's a very strong choice.
Absolutely. So what about you? We've spoken in great length about 2016 and just the sheer magnitude of sets, but based on your reaction, I think you did not want me to have this year, or you didn't think I was going to pick 2016. And I am curious because I think I know what year you're going to say, but I'd like to hear it from you.
I want to know what you think I may have gone for.
Right. Okay, so spoiler alert for those of you who wonder how we do this. We make notes. I mean, I've got a pad here, and I've been making notes before the podcast, and I'm making notes as we do things now and we discuss things. And I had 2 years written down. One was my year, and one was the year that I thought you were going to say. And I thought you were going to say 2014.
Oh, very strong year again, but not the one I've gone for. So, without further ado...
That's thrown me off. Yeah, that's thrown me off balance now. I need to know now.
So, personal preferences in Star Wars. Up until I was about 25, I was a Clone Wars denialist. I kept saying it doesn't count. It doesn't count towards Star Wars. It's animated. It doesn't count. Since then, and since sitting down and watching through all of Clone Wars, it's some of the top tier Star Wars. It's some of my favourite Star Wars. And I love a clone set. And so the year that I went for was 2013. And so if I just run through a few of these, we start off strong, Ewok Village, very popular set. Then we've got the UCS X-Wing and a few polybags. But it starts to get interesting. We've got my favourite AT-RT, which has got Clone Wars Yoda in it. We've got the Z95, the Rancor Pit. These ones were a bit of an odd choice, but I did have these and I did love these. The little planet sets. So they had Camino and Coruscant and a few other planets in there. And the Umbar and MHC was in there as well. But the big sets for me, it is my favourite ever set if I come down here. So we've got the 2013 ATTE, Jabba's Sail Barge. This was the one that swung it for me. The 2013 Republic gunship, I still think is peak Star Wars. It was the first big set that I say big. It was the biggest set that I had ever bought at that time. And I fell in love with it. It was just so for me. I kind of went through this, and it was definitely personal preference. But yeah, for the Clone Wars influence, you've got the Jedi, and you've got some Old Republic in there as well. But I mean, you've got Cad Bane in there. You've got Darth Maul. Season 5 of Clone Wars, Gunship, ATTE. You've got some ATRT in there as well, and some other clone battle packs. So it was really strong, as well as Count Dooku on Duel and Geonosis.
Yeah, there's some really cool, interesting, fun sets within this year. So I'm very much a massive fan of your choice here. And I think 2013 is actually a really, really, really good time. So yeah, I respect that. Right.
Okay. So no, I was just saying when I was discussing this, 2008 was a very close second. Again, it was a gunship year, another ATT year, and had the Death Star in as well, or the Death Star that I have. So that was a very, very nostalgic year as well. But yeah, I eventually landed on this. I think the other one in here that I didn't mention, if I go right down to the bottom, or is it up here? Yeah, there you go. It's got the Advent calendar as well, which has got that young Boba Fett in there, which is obviously quite a sought after set. And you've got the Christmas Django, and so yeah, it's just got a few pieces in there that I'm a big fan of. And actually, looking through it, there's a few in there I'd still would like to own. Maybe get there. They're so expensive.
No, and I think 2013 as well. I think that's the last year that we got a Phase 2 Rex as well. We haven't had a Rex since 2013. We had 2013. We had you said the ATRT, the Gunship, which has got the Attack of the Clones, Anakin Skywalker, and I get it because it's got that really nice green packaging with Yoda as well. So that's a very good year, and I think I can't fault your choice for that one. I get it. I think it's a cool. There are some duds, and obviously the Planet set's a prime example of that. But I think overall that is a very solid year, just based on nostalgia and some of the cool minifigures you get as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like say, I mean, the Gunship was the big thing, but you go through all of them, and there are a lot. I mean, just looking here, you have got Rex, you've got Ahsoka, you've got Django, you've got Boba. There's a lot. And Count Dooku as well. There's a lot of quite collectible minifigs nowadays. I mean, I'm just looking at this. Can you imagine being able to walk down the street and get a 25-pound Captain Rex?
Yeah, just it boggles the mind a little bit, doesn't it?
I would travel back and I'd pick up a fair few of those sets, block them off.
Yeah.
So a really, really interesting discussion. And to be honest, it's probably more for us. It was probably interesting going away and having a think about this and thinking about what sets meant something to us, I guess, and what really stood out to us. But I think putting it out there to those people listening, let us know what your favourite sets are and what your favourite year for Star Wars Lego is, because I'm sure that we'd all have a different year, that there's going to be some sets or something that sticks out in your mind that kind of hits that nostalgia part and really jumps out to you. So yeah, let us know what your favourite year was. Okay, so we'll wrap up main topic number 1. And main topic number 2, again, kind of follows on from last week's discussion about these 4 sets that have been approved and have been taken through review for the Lego ideas. And we thought it would be really good to kind of look through all the other sets that have reached that 10,000 vote threshold. And Josh kind of put this idea across again. And it was only until we did a bit of research and realised that there were 51 sets that have reached that threshold.
Yeah, staggering.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
51.
Do you know, it just shows how amazing these creators are, how amazing everyone is that submits these sets. It's not an easy thing. I mean, can you imagine 10,000 people voting on something that you've created? It's got to be good to be able to get through. And we've tried to narrow it down, haven't we, to just a few. We're going to try and talk about a few that we would interest us. But even then, saying that, we're both kind of like, oh, we'll talk about 2, but there's at least 10, 15 that I'd go for. So
yeah. narrowing a couple down from 51 each is very difficult because I've got about 4 written down on my piece of paper, but I'm only really probably going to talk about 2. And I'm trying to keep mine as diverse as possible, and I'm trying to cater to all niches. But realistically, there's like 7 or 8 that I'm looking at thinking, I would buy that, I would buy that, I would buy that. So definitely a very good topic for future podcasts if we were to do this as a regular thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So the way that I've kind of chosen mine, and this may be different, I've kind of chosen the ones that I think will sell well, the ones that I think will appeal to the larger majority of the audience. Because I guess that's the idea for Lego. They're looking through and they're trying to pick out ones that are going to make them money, aren't they? Let me just get it up here quickly so that we can kind of see what we're talking about. So do you want to start us off then, Josh? Which ones did you want to kind of touch upon?
Well, I mean, I'm just gonna come out and say it. The Goonies, the 360 Ideas Goonies set looks fantastic. Because it's got basically where it starts off with the Fratellis and their obviously their restaurant, and then it goes down into the underbelly, and then it goes down into further on with the piano key made out of the skeleton, and then you've got the spikes and all the booby traps. And I think it's just, the Goonies is just a fantastic movie from like that era. And if you look at it, they've designed it as like a 4-in-1 individual. So it's one display set that's got 4 different tiers, and each tier is a different iconic moment from the movie. And I liked it because it was different. It wasn't like a specific moment from the movie. It was taking different parts of the movie into about a 4-tiered set. And for me, I just liked the nice little detailings on it, especially like the piano and the spikes and them escaping and things like that. I just loved it. I thought it was great.
I think, do you know what? The minifig designs on them as well, they're so clever.
Yeah.
Sloth looks amazing. But yeah, no, they've done something very different, I think, and it's going to appeal to a lot of people. I think, looking at it, when you look at kind of the base, certainly the water and things, there's going to be things that Lego are not wild about leaving big blank spaces like that. But I think it's definitely something that Lego will adapt, and Lego could adapt. It's going to sell, isn't it? It's one of those big.
That is a big.
It's a big cult movie. The size of it just seems perfect. It's not too big. It's not going to have this horrific. It probably looks like it'll probably be a sort of 2,000 piece set, somewhere around that. So it's not going to be horrifically big. But I just think, like you say, they've done so many cool little aspects of the film, and the way that it kind of like dives and works its way down. Is really cool, even with like the water flowing over and things. I just think it's a very, very cleverly put together set, and like you can see here, there's just so many small little elements of it that they've added from the film, and they don't seem to have wasted any space with trying to add in different features from the film. So I think it's a very, very clever set. Just looking at it now, it looks like a proper Lego set, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, and I like the fact that it's different, but it's not too out there, because obviously 9 times out of 10 with these Lego idea sets, we've had Seinfeld, we've had Friends, we've had The Big Bang Theory, and they're like, say, rooms or cafes or their buildings. With this, it's taken, just bits of a movie and built them on top of each other so that it's a continuous kind of segment of each movie. They all flow into each other nicely, and it's something I've never seen before to such a scale. So for me, that was the first thing that I noticed, and I thought, instant winner for me. That is going to print money if it does make it to the next stage. Yeah, absolutely.
I think you're right. When you talk about things like Friends, Seinfeld, The Office, it's a formula that works, isn't it? And I'm not. I wouldn't judge anyone kind of posting a build like that on there, but it's a formula that works. People know that it's going to get votes. Because it is, I guess it's one of those ones that it's nice to have on the display. You can almost, I'd be willing to bet a lot of money that they're going to release a Parks and Recs one of the offices there eventually. But this is kind of taking that idea and doing something different with it. Which I really like. It shows a lot of creativity. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that one as well. I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and because I know that I went past it a second ago, because there's so many on here. And the first one that I'm going to kind of pick out seems like an obvious one, but it is this. the Krusty Krab. I just think you bring out a Krusty Krab, everyone's buying a Krusty Krab. SpongeBob is still, Jacob's 10, and every now and then he'll chuck on episodes of SpongeBob. It's still going now, still going strong. I think it's one of those things that has got a large fan base. I think kids will buy it. I think there's people, younger adults or maybe older adults as well, that are going to pick it up. I think the minifigs in it will become fairly collectible if they can do a few that haven't been done before. I just think this seems like a really obvious one that Lego will eventually go for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big SpongeBob fan.
No.
I never was, but I get where you're coming from. It's almost kind of similar to Simpsons or Futurama in terms of that sort of design, that colour, that aesthetic, that how they're drawn. Because it's from that kind of like mid to like late 2000s era, isn't it, when they were at their height of their fame and we all knew what they were. And, you know, SpongeBob SquarePants is something that it's generational, you know. Young people know it, old people know it. And yeah, the Krusty Krab is where a lot of things happen. You could play it safe and go for, obviously, you know, SpongeBob's house, but I think Krusty Krab works because it's a very, like, iconic SpongeBob location, isn't it? A lot happens at the Krusty Krab within SpongeBob, so I get it. And if they don't, obviously, because for those of you who don't know, with Lego Ideas, you need something like 10,000 votes to get a set to the next stage of a review, and then it goes down to other things, etc. And I think even if it doesn't make it through this stage of Lego Ideas, it's definitely got the potential to be a repeat offender in submission. So I think for the right collectors, it's a win.
Yeah, I think it's almost, it's kind of like what you said. It's on the nose, isn't it? It is what it is. It's not creative in the sense of the Goonies set at all. And I think that's why it would be a winner for Lego, because I think it is just, like you say, like the Simpsons house. I just think it's one of those sets. I think there's a big enough audience for it to make it worthwhile producing. You said something in there that has struck a chord with me. And I'm now pining for a white whale set. Why have they not done an old Bessie from Futurama, the Futurama ship? I mean, make a UCS size one of them, and I'm buying it.
Yeah, you know, do a Planet Express headquarters and give us all the minifigs with a Bessie included as like a playset, and you know what? I reckon that would sell.
Absolutely. I think ships in general, I think Lego knows people like to buy. But yeah, get a whole headquarters. Futurama. Futurama is, a couple of episodes ago, we talked about themes that we wish Lego did. I'm now thinking that should have been my choice. I would love a Futurama set.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so mine was a very on-the-nose pick. You've gone for a very creative pick for your first one. Have you got another one that you'd like to kind of point out?
Yes, and it's rather fitting that I bring this one up, because we spoke about it on a previous episode with the podcast, you know, with Just 15 Bricks, and that's the Indiana Jones 3-in-1.
Nice.
That obviously there are rumours for the set leaks that Indiana Jones is going to be coming out and things like that. What I liked about this was the fact that it's modelled, if you read the actual design brief and the backstory behind this set, it's designed so that you can have it as one large set, or you can have it as 3 individual small sets for displayability. And it's the iconic scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark when he's looking for the idol in, I think it's Peru, and, you know, there's the boulder and he's got to escape. And, you know, I like the fact that obviously with it being the 40th anniversary of Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's rather fitting that with them doing a limited run of Indiana Jones, that somebody submitted like a UCS style display set sort of thing for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I mean, obviously, for some people, Indiana Jones is not a thing. Some people are hot and cold on it. I might collect it, I might not. But I just like the fact that they've given collectors the chance to break down the set into 3 small individual display pieces. So if you don't want to have it as one big set taking up a shelf, you could have it placed on a shelf somewhere else and just mix it up a little bit, I think.
I think people are going to start picking up on your preferences, Josh. I think these They are, I think if you stack these on top of each other, it'd be very similar to the Goonies one. They are very well designed. They remind me a lot of the Star Wars kind of vignette sets, the diorama sets. But I think they've got more of that kind of, or not 360, it's almost like a 180 aspect. You've got two sides that tend to have a lot going on for each set. But like you say, the fact that you've got three separate kind of completely separate ideas going on at the same time, as well as working as one, is a really nice idea. And I think I know that Lego would never do it, but it's definitely one of those things that you almost think they could do a 3-in-1 or sell them individually, because there may be a particular scene, price point may be above you. I feel like that's something that they could almost break up, and you could collect each one and make it a much more manageable price point for people. But no, I think it's a really, really cool set. I am a big Indiana Jones fan, so these are the iconic scenes, of course. The only thing that I would say alongside the 40th anniversary is that the 40th anniversary was actually in 2021. So I don't know how much that, obviously that can't really play into it now. But I still think with the new Indiana Jones sets coming out, I think this may be one that Lego kind of put on the back burner and wait to see how their Indiana Jones sets do. And if they're big sellers again, I think they'll go for something similar to this and go down that kind of Star Wars diorama line, because I think Indiana Jones is obviously a similar generation to Star Wars. And I think they know that nowadays a lot of Star Wars buyers are older, they're not children anymore, and a lot are adults, and I think they may start to tweak other lines like Indiana Jones to that audience.
Yeah, and again, like you say, it's highly probable that they'll wait and they'll sit on it and see how the re-release of Indiana Jones goes, which is, I mean, it's a smart strategy in terms of marketing and business and design and things like that. But I also think something like that, if they don't make it now, within the next 3 to 4 years or whatever, they never will.
Yeah, no.
Because Indiana Jones is slowly creeping back into the collective consciousness as well, because obviously there are talks that they're going to be doing another Indiana Jones movie, and it'll be the last Indiana Jones movie with Harrison Ford and things like that. So
yeah, I don't know what year that's slated, but I know they have filmed Indiana Jones 5, so it's in post-production. I'm not quite sure when the release date is, but yeah, I think, like you say, it's creeping back into the consciousness. I think they're going to kind of test the waters with their sets, but I think that will be kind of it for Indiana Jones. Once that kind of final film comes out, I think it's going to be really difficult for Lego to kind of get back into it if they kind of miss this period of attention that it's going to have over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'm going to go on to my second choice, but I think obviously everyone listening to this, if this interests you, I'll leave a link. The Ideas website itself has kind of posted these up to show everyone, so it's definitely worth having a look through. There's lots of incredible sets. I mean, this medieval watchtower is very cool. There are lots and lots of really cool sets. Obviously, we would be here for hours if we went through all of them. But my final one that I kind of wanted to talk about was this. Again, I've gone down the route of sellability. You just look at how well the Adidas Superstar did. We discussed the Polaroid last week. We've discussed things like the typewriter. I just think retro tech, I feel like that goes hand in hand with like an adult Lego collector. And I just think the SNES as well that they've done. I just think this one, especially with the size of it, I think it would just sell like hotcakes. It would be off the shelves in seconds. I'd be getting my Awesome Mix Volume 2 and trying to stuff it in there as well, from the group set. I'm a sucker for retro tech. We discussed the Polaroid last week, but yeah, this would definitely be one that I'd pick up, but I know that there'd be a lot of other people as well very keen. And I really like the kind of chain idea for kind of carrying the Walkman. They've obviously got the brick built tape like they do in the Groot set as well, and the headphones. I just think really clever idea, small build, marketable to a lot of people. What do you reckon?
I mean, I had a sneaky feeling you'd go for this one. I'm not going to lie to you. I really did. And yeah, I get it because, like you said, we've had the Adidas trainer, which has sold out very well. We've had the SNES. We've had the Atari as well.
Yeah.
We spoke about the Polaroid camera, and you get the cassette tapes with the GRU. So I think, like you say, that kind of retro 80s and early 90s kind of vibe, people are really into that at the moment. And I think this has come at a very good time because, similar to what we said about Indiana Jones, Lego have kind of bided their time when they've released some of these ideas and some of these other sets to see how well they've performed. And now that people are buying them and they're collecting them, it's a no-brainer to have somebody design a set like this, which does look phenomenal. I love that shade of red that they've used. I think the red just pops. It's fantastic. And I like the fact that somebody has been bold enough to even design the headphones made out of Lego as well. I think that is just absolutely creative as anything. That is brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. The one thing that did occur or did kind of pop into my mind are sort of brand deals that Lego have. I don't know what their relationship with Sony is like. To be honest, it's likely to make both of them money. So I'm sure it's something they could work out. But then I was kind of thinking, well, if they do have a deal with Sony, are we then going to get like a PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2? Are we going to start getting other retro Sony stuff? I just think it's one of those lines, if they can sort out a deal with Sony, I think they kind of set themselves up to earn themselves a lot of money because as soon as you get into games consoles, like we've seen, like you say, with the Atari and the SNES, people are fans.
And let us know as well, for those of you who are watching this on YouTube and those of you who do religiously follow the podcast as well, let us know what ideas from those 3 or 4 of you, we appreciate you. Two of them are us, so the extra person who let us know which of the 51 you really like, because I mean I had the 18 van and the log flume down as other set ideas to discuss and that interested me for various reasons, but I'm curious to see what the listeners and the people who are streaming this like as well, because there's something there on the 51 ideas that just caters to everyone. There's a little bit of everything there for everyone. And like you said, the Watchtower, the medieval one, looks amazing. We've had the blacksmith, so they've got the alchemist idea. There's the Watchtower. We've just recently had the Lego castle. So everything kind of all fits in with recent releases or things that are pending release as well. It's kind of nice how everything has overlapped or has kind of got a link to something that is either out or is going to be out.
Yeah, absolutely. I just again, I was kind of astounded when I did the research. I was just astounded at how amazing people are, how amazing these creators are. It makes me want to pick up Lego bricks and start building. The dogs are going off.
Oh, brilliant.
Oi, shush. Oh, well. Okay, so we'll leave that one there and we'll move on to our Q&A. Now, we have just got one question in this week,
okay.
But I think it's a very interesting question, and I didn't want to give it to you because I kind of wanted to see your initial reaction. We've got a bit of a Lego group chat going on, and it has been a topic of the group chat as well. So it'll be interesting to get your take on it. You're looking a little bit confused, but you'll know what I mean when I say it.
Right, okay.
So the question sent in by Lego Luke was, what do we think about Lego gift with purchases? Are they a gimmick or are they something worthwhile for Lego fans?
Okay. That's quite a good one, actually. That's a very good question, Lego Jake. I wasn't expecting that as a question, so you kind of throw me off kilter there. So yeah. That's good that. I get it with GWPs because let's just address the elephant in the room. There are some themes that have amazing gift with purchases, like Harry Potter. If you spent over so much on Harry Potter, you got the Stairs of Hogwarts as a GWP, which I've seen doing the rounds on TikTok. But I mean, then there's other themes as well, and no disrespect to those people who collect themes like this, but there are just some other themes out there that are just trash GWPs. There are just some awful gift with purchases. And I, myself, personally, I'm hit and miss because you can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can go on eBay, you can go on Bricklink, and people buy sets of a certain price range for the gift with purchases and sell them on because they know that there are people out there who maybe don't want to spend, say, over £100 on a Lego set just for that, but are prepared to pay £20 to £30 for that gift as well. So it would depend for me on what the theme is, what the gift for purchase was, and also, do I think I would want to spend so much money for something that they give out basically for free? So I'm very much on the fence. I'm trying to be objective, but also there are good things and there are bad things. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think, like you say, it obviously depends on what it is. But I think a lot of people, like you say, a lot of people see it as money off their sets. I'm thinking back to when, actually, I know that they're doing it again now, but with the UCS 8080, it was Luke's lightsaber, wasn't it? I'm not getting that confused. I'm sure it's Luke's lightsaber. The day that came out, I was looking online and straight away, Facebook Marketplace, people are selling Luke's lightsaber for £100. So you think if that's what people are willing to pay for it and that's what people are paying for it, you're getting that 8080 for £100 off brand new on day one, if you know that you're going to be able to resell that gift with purchase. So I think a lot of people do see it as kind of money off. There are certain sets that I have specifically spent money to get. The Lars Homestead, I just thought was an awesome little build. And so I immediately went out and I was like, right, what don't I have? And let's kind of make up this price point. And that's where it kind of niggles at me a little bit, in the sense of, was I going to buy those sets initially, or have I just given Lego X amount of money just because I want this set that they're giving away for free when really they're getting 160 or whatever pounds it was at the time. And the reason why I said it was topical, why it's obviously been a discussion in the group chat. Our friend Seamus, just 15 Breeks again. I mean, we bring him up every week. We should just have him on as a regular.
I think so, yeah. You know,
he sent through a screenshot. Although I did see he had favorited one, so he's obviously thinking about buying one. But the blanket, there's this Lego blanket that is now a gift with purchase as of today. We're recording on November the 1st. And you've got to spend £200 to get this blanket, and already people are selling it for 40, 50 quid on eBay.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. And like you say, having seen the images of that, I mean, don't get me wrong, whoever designed them, fair play. You've designed something really fun, really funky, really niche. And I know somebody who would definitely want to have items like that dotted around the house. I'll just have to obviously pitch the idea of, can we spend X amount of money just to get a gift for purchases like that? But I think in some ways, it's a bit of a cop-out, because are you spending the money for the right reasons? Are you spending £160, £200 because you want to spend that money and buy cool Lego sets, or are you just buying sets for the sake of it because you want that gift for purchase? It's kind of like, are you throwing money away just for one item that you could buy separately? It's a morally grey area, I think, for me.
Yeah, it does really niggle at me, and I know I've succumbed to it before, like I said, but for me, it almost sits in that kind of area of people buying tickets to like concerts and things just to sell them on, just because they know they can make some money on it. It's not like you're buying it to have that thing. You're just buying it to make a bit of money off that thing. And I'm sure that Lego know this. But then when you think about it, I don't know a better way for them to do it. I don't know if there's a way. They can't stop people selling them on. So it's a really tricky, like you say, it's a grey area. But it is something that niggles at me, especially when I see, like today, it's up on eBay immediately for 50 quid. And even then, when I saw that, I thought, oh, well, maybe I am going to get that table football that I wanted, because I can get it for 40 quid cheaper, because I could just sell off I don't need a blanket. I'd like to have the blanket, but I don't need it.
Yeah.
And even that the fact that thought crossed my mind annoys me. Like, I don't want to be that person. But with Lego prices as they are at the moment, I'm not sure I blame the people that are doing that.
Yeah, and I think as well, you've hit the nail on the head there. With the price of Lego being the way that it is, and obviously there was that whole campaign a few months ago where people were trying to, like, you know, boycott buying Lego on, you know, August 1st and things like that. And obviously that's a topic that I'm not going to delve into because obviously everybody has their opinions on that. But it's basically like, obviously, you know, Lego at the moment is the most like inflated in terms of price that it's ever been. Like, Lego is at its peak right now. And we as collectors know this because this is something that we invest our time and effort in, and it's a hobby that we have sunk a lot of money into. But one thing that I found interesting is the fact that Lego have kind of given you a gift for purchase that isn't actually bricks or plastic. It's material. It's material. It's not their standard gift with purchase kind of ethos, which I must admit is interesting because as a company that obviously it's plastic bricks, it's been founded as a toy company. They're now branching out and they're doing gift with purchases that are practical. You know, people are always going to want blankets. People are always going to want pillows. They're always going to want scarves. They're always going to want things like that. So whether you may think it's morally wrong for people to buy things and then sell the gift with purchases on, it's smart business strategy though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's great promotion for Lego. I genuinely think. I mean, we all discussed it. We've all discussed the fact that this gift with purchases come out, and it's straight away. Oh well, I need to get them. Even like I saw Seamus said about the coasters, and I was like, oh, I want a Lego coaster.
Yeah,
I don't need to be spending another £65, but I can guarantee there's another 100,000, if not more, people out there that see a Lego coaster and Lego saying, oh well, if you come and spend £65 in store, you can have one of these.
Yeah, and
so many people are going to go.
Yeah, and imagine like just the conversation starter you have when you invite somebody to your house and you make them a cup of tea and they look down and you presented them a cup of tea on a coaster that's got Lego bricks and Lego prints on it. That is definitely going to make your house more interesting if you are people like that. I mean, you know, what's next? Couches made out of that are designed like Lego bricks, you know?
Sorry about that. Again, this happened a couple of weeks ago where it just dropped out. I was just saying how I've been looking on Pinterest and I know there's a lot of people that have like completely redesigned houses and have like walls made of Lego and like hundreds of thousands of bricks just to make like a little kitchen island and things that are just unbelievable. I don't think I'd ever go to that extent, but yeah, you're right. It's definitely a talking point, isn't it? So it was. I thought. So thank you. Who was it? Lego Luke. Thank you very much for the question. Genuinely thought it was a really clever question, and there's not really an answer to it. I think it's personal preference. Like I said, it kind of niggles with me a little bit. I think possibly you as well, but we can both kind of see the strategy from Lego and why they do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And just as a word of thingy to the wise, everyone. Obviously, Bite Size and I are not qualified to answer these questions. I don't think anybody out there is. You know, these are just opinions of two men who love Lego, and we want to share our love of Lego with all of you. So don't take what we think and what we say as gospel. There are other opinions out there and there are other things. So if you're not sure about it, do your own research, look into it, because at the end of the day, we don't want to come across as though we're saying, oh, gift for purchases are a bad idea or it's smart business strategy, but we don't approve of it. You know, you're able to formulate your own opinions. We're just kind of giving a bit of a broad perspective of these things. We don't want to come across like we're saying, no, don't do that.
No, definitely. And I think I'll just echo those words. I think you're exactly right. We are not here to give advice, and I think we probably should have said this before, especially when discussing sets. When we say a set is great, that is not us trying to give a definitive review of any set. It's just our feelings on sets. We know all of this is subjective. Everybody's going to have different opinions. We're just kind of putting ours across without forcing them. So please don't take anything that we say too seriously. We are just chatting about Lego. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. A really interesting topic to discuss anyway. And I think it's probably one that's going to rumble on a little bit, especially, like we say, with the price hikes. It will be interesting to kind of see whether Lego continue this route of non-brick gift with purchases. But yeah, something that we'll probably continue to discuss into the future. But yeah, really, really interesting. Okay, so as ever, we are at the point of the show, the important point of the show, where we like to finish with our Lego drafts. Now, this week, I have to say that I chose the theme, and I was really awkward. Really, really awkward with the theme this week. I wanted to kind of get away from Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, those main themes. What have we done? We've done Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, Marvel so far. And so my main stipulation this week was no Star Wars, no Marvel, no DC, no Lord of the Rings, no Harry Potter. We're avoiding all those major themes. And so what I put to Josh this week is that I want minifigure heroes or minifigure good guys that aren't inside those main big themes that Lego release. So it's going to be really interesting. This is the first draft, actually, that we've kind of, because of the awkwardness of it, that we have not discussed any characters that we've chosen, but we've kind of discussed sets and things that could we choose this or other things. So just to kind of put that out there, we have not discussed any minifigures, as always. This is going to be complete blindside. I know that I have got reserves. Josh has got reserves. We're kind of hoping we don't have to use them, but we may have to. So as ever, we're going to take turns because that's the way we do it here. We take turns. And I'm going to throw it over to Josh to kind of kick us off. Where was your head with this? Because I know it kind of threw you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. This was very difficult because I had to try and figure not just like what I thought I wanted, but what I thought you were not going to have, as well as what you were going to have. So I kind of had to think outside the box a little bit. And I'm going to kick things off with, I'm going to pick a character from set number 21304, which is the 12th Doctor minifigure from the Lego Ideas.
Nice. Okay, strong start. Doctor Who. Okay, nice. I'm glad I don't have it. Okay, so my first pick from set 3828, so quite an old set, is Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, back to you.
I like that. That's good. Okay, I'm going to pick from my number 2. This is from a mystery mini bag thing, and I'm going to pick Frozone from 71024, The Incredibles and Disney polybags.
Nice. Frozone is a very cool character. I did not think of The Incredibles, so great shout there. Okay.
No, thank you.
This is a bit more of a mainstream theme, I guess. So from set 79122, I have chosen my favourite one, Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, I didn't think Ninja Turtles, so fair.
Nice.
Okay.
On to number 3.
In that case then, for my number 3, I'm going to pick one that I don't think that you will have picked, and I'm going to pick from set number 21314, which was the Lego Ideas Tron Legacy. I'm going to pick Korra.
Awesome. Those Tron sets are so cool. That is amazing.
Yeah.
What a shout. I had that. Do you know what? If it had crossed my mind, I think we may have had a match there, but it hadn't. Didn't come across it. Awesome. Okay. Set number, or minifig number 3 for me, comes from set 71245. I am a massive fan of Adventure Time, and so I chose Finn the Human.
Okay, that's good. I haven't seen Adventure Time, but I know enough about it. So I think the fact that you picked that is a good shout. And again, we haven't clashed, so this is good.
Yep, good so far.
Right, in that case then, for my minifigure number 4, I'm going to pick from set number 75810, which is from Stranger Things. For those of you who are familiar, it's the Upside Down. And I'm going to pick Chief Hopper.
Oh, nice. I was on 10. I have the same set here. One of my reserves, just to kind of spoil things. We're not going to get there because I already have enough to kind of fill it. But yeah, one of my reserves was from that Stranger Things set, so we can discuss that in a minute. But Hopper is a great shout. Okay, We're on number 4, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, so this was one I was worried about when you mentioned, you asked me the question, we can reveal this now, that you asked me the question, can we pick Dimensions sets? And I said yes.
Yeah.
So this was one I was worried about. But I went all-time action hero here. So from set 71248, I have chosen Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible.
Ooh, nice.
Strong.
That's okay. I respect that. That's very, very, very good. Right, now I'm looking at my list here as I pick my fifth pick, and I've got about 3 or 4 to pick, and I don't know, do I pick one that I think you're going to have, or do I pick one that I think I really want? And I think if you've picked Ethan Hunt, I'm gonna have to pick from set number 76911, which is the speed champions Aston Martin. I'm gonna pick James Bond.
Yeah, of course you are. Of course he was next on my list as well. I knew I should have bumped him up. Awesome. Great choice. Don't really need to explain that one. It's James Bond. Amazing. Okay. He was fifth on my list, and it's really tricky. We know that one of my reserves was Stranger Things. That was bottom of my list. That was kind of like the end. But my 6th and 7th on my list, I don't know who I'm going to go for. Oh dear. Okay. Right. I am going to end up. No, I'm not. I'm going to stick with my 6th. Sorry. I'm trying to work out which one I want to go for. So for my final choice, I'm going from set 71258. This is another Lego Dimensions set. One of my favourite movie characters of all time. I've gone for E.T., the extraterrestrial.
Was not expecting that.
I mean, I gotta love it. I was kind of hoping, I don't know why, for some reason, it must have been like a Lego idea set or something that I'd seen, or like a submitted one. I feel like I had seen an Elliot. I wanted Elliot, but there's not a Lego Elliot. So I've gone for E.T. in the end. I think they're very strong teams, Josh.
I'm not going to lie to you. Considering how hard of a topic this is, and we only had a couple of hours to actually prepare for this, for those of you behind the scenes on the podcast, we only gave each other a couple of hours to kind of do our research and prepare everything. I'm actually quite happy with my team. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, same. I have to say, I was wrestling, but it's odd because the first 3 in my list I really wanted in my list, but I also knew that you didn't have them, and so I wish I had bumped James Bond and just bitten the bullet and gone straight in with him. But no, I think that was a great get by you. Had to get James Bond in there. So just very quickly for those people listening, my final 5 were Aang from The Last Airbender, Raphael, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Finn the Human from Adventure Time, Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible, and E.T. from E.T. And your final 5, Josh, were?
I went for Doctor Who, or specifically the 12th incarnation of the Doctor. I picked Frozone from The Incredibles, Cora from Tron Legacy, Hopper from Stranger Things, specifically the Upside Down set, and I topped off my team rather nicely with the James Bond from the recent Speed Champions Aston Martin.
Very, very strong team. I have to say, when I don't know why I thought this, because I clearly wasn't. When I put James Bond down on my list, I thought, oh, I'm being a bit clever here because it's new and I'm not sure he would have remembered. Like, sometimes when you get into these drafts, I know I've gone like way back straight away and tried to like go back through the archives and then kind of remembered newer ones later on. So I thought I might get away with that. So those people wondering, just for the reservists out there, my 2 that I haven't mentioned, the Stranger Things one, I had 11.
Of course.
I genuinely think Hopper might be an even better shout, but I think it was between those. I did go for 11 in the end. She was my 8th pick. My 7th pick was definitely personal preference here. I've always been a big fan of The Simpsons. And I went for Bartman from the series 2 of The Simpsons, like polybag things. I went for for Bartman in his like purple mask and Kate. I thought it was a cool little minifig. So yeah, they didn't quite make the team. What were your reserves?
Well, I had Indiana Jones, specifically the OG Indiana Jones from set number 7683, which was the plane escape from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I had that one because obviously we'd spoken a lot about Indiana Jones, and I thought, because we were going to be, because obviously I knew it was coming up in the podcast, maybe he wouldn't think about it. So, and
I didn't.
That was my option.
Yeah.
I had Dr. Ian Malcolm from 76956, which was the T-Rex UCS Jurassic Park set.
Yeah, awesome. Another great pick.
I'm a massive Jeff Goldblum fan, so you know what I mean. That for me was a no-brainer. And my last reserve would have been a very safe shout because there's no way in hell you would have gotten this one. But I felt like, you hadn't said James Bond, so I should have gone with this one. But my final reservist was actually from an early 2000s theme called Alpha Team, which was Dash Justice from set number 4789.
Awesome. That's an out there one. I think
an out there one, but I
Yeah,
I had the minifigure, so yeah, that was like my safe option, depending on how the rest of the draft would have gone.
yeah, nice. Actually, part of the reason why we gave ourselves 2 hours was half not kind of having finalised a draft in the first place and not kind of nailing down what we were going to do, but also I think giving ourselves 2 hours for a really broad topic. I genuinely thought we were going to come here and we discussed it before we started. I thought we would have 4 or 5 matching things because I thought in that amount of time, how like different can we go? We've ended up going, other than one out of, we both had a list of 8. We've done quite well there.
I think so. And I mean, just the sheer diversity of what we've gone for, like we've both gone. I mean, obviously Stranger Things was one theme that we both said and things like that, but we both picked completely different topics. Like, because obviously I picked Doctor Who because they released that idea set with the 12th and 11th Doctors, and then obviously, you know, I picked Frozone from The Incredibles, which is a very underrated Pixar property, even though it's got a Lego game. And obviously, the Cora from Tron Legacy, I love the Tron Legacy set, and I wish that I had that. I think that's possibly my new non-Star Wars White Whale set, is that Tron Legacy set.
Yeah.
And obviously, we all love Strange Things, so Hopper was a definite must-have in any team. So, you know.
No, that's I think it's an awesome list. And like you say, they're just ones that had not occurred to me. And I think my thinking when I was going through it, certainly with like my first 3 were, and actually when I was thinking of 11 as well, and Batman, I was thinking superheroes that aren't superhero, like they're not like Marvel DC superheroes. So I was trying to think of like who else would kind of fit into that category. And Frozone is a great example of like that. He's as much a superhero as any of the Marvel characters. So I think that was a great shout. For me, I kind of then started to work into preference when I had a few in my mind. I knew from the start I was going to get a turtle in there. Again, personal preference, but that was always going to happen. There we go.
Sorry about that. A technical fault on my end as well. It was literally, we started talking and then my mic disconnected and stuff, and I was like, oh, so I had to re-plug it back in and reset it. So yeah. So,
no worries.
So I mean, at least I missed the Dave Filoni loving is the main thing.
Yeah. No, I was just saying that as soon as I found out that he kind of did all of Avatar, I went back and watched it because I just think he's an amazing storyteller. And then I ended up loving it. So that's just another one there. So yeah, I think both really strong teams this week again. And definitely a different one this week, especially when going back through and trying to choose. It was very different than, especially last week we did it was Lord of the Rings last week. And we had a very finite amount of characters that we could choose from last week. So
yeah, and with this one, this one was really good because even though it was hard, there's a very broad range to pick from. So you can't really go wrong with that.
I think the more we do these, the more people are going to get to know us a little bit better and the things that we like. No, it's awesome. That was good. And we've done it. We did it a quick one this week, so I'll be able to clip that down, and then everybody will actually be able to let us know who picked the better non-big theme Lego draft. What a long-winded name that is. I'll have to work on that. But we did, and we mentioned this before, we did all go kind of light side, good guys. So that kind of leaves the door open for there to be a sequel to this Lego draft and go the other way, and thinking of the more villainous route. So I'm looking forward to delving into that as well.
Yeah.
But that rounds us out this week. Again, Josh, I've loved chatting to you, talking about Lego again. There's nothing better, is there?
Absolutely. It's a good way to spend a week, I think.
Yeah. So, as ever, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, of course. You guys can find me on TikTok at the Galaxy of Bricks. That is my main platform. You can also find me on Instagram as well at the Galaxy of Bricks, and you can also find me on YouTube at the Galaxy of Bricks.
Awesome. Putting out some great content as well, so make sure you give Josh a follow. For myself, it's Bite Size Bricks. I'm not saying it again. I'm just going to say I'm not on Instagram. I can't keep up with it. TikTok, Bite Size Bricks. that's my wheelhouse. Try to get things on YouTube as well, but obviously a lot of my focus now is kind of turned towards this podcast. So please share this with your friends. As we said last week, we are getting people listening to our podcast, and it's amazing to see when I log in and kind of look at the stats. We're not in the hundreds yet, but there's a fair few of you listening, which is really nice to see. And we're trying to make it easier for you guys to kind of get in touch with us. We've obviously got our YouTube page. You can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, pretty much wherever you get your podcast nowadays. But we have also set up a TikTok, and I think as of the time that this comes out on Friday, I will make sure I kind of put something out on that TikTok to coincide, and probably something before to kind of let people know. So if you want to give us a follow on TikTok as well, that would be very much appreciated, to spread the good word of the Fandom Bricks podcast.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to pitch any questions or topics for the Fandom Bricks podcast, you can get in touch with us directly on our individual TikTok accounts, or you can get in touch with us on the comment section of our YouTube and things like that. So we really want to hear you guys as well, and what you guys think and what opinions you all have. We wouldn't be doing this podcast if we didn't want to hear what you thought as well. So please do get in touch.
Absolutely. And a very quick thing to kind of pull you back in next week. We have got some really great guests lined up. I think for at least a couple of weeks, it's not just going to be myself and Josh. We are going to have a few other people on. And if you're a creator and you're into Lego, get in touch. We'd love to have you on. We are always open to having different opinions. Come on and argue with us. We won't mind. We just want to talk Lego. So again, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. And we will see you as ever next week.
The Fandom Bricks Podcast.